Alrighty, it's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in the Hercules Tire Studios, and joining me from the Lethal Chassis Studios up in the great state of Pennsylvania is Ashley Stremme. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
Well, it was almost from the fields of Triple D Farm today, but other than chasing buffalo around, I'm doing great. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, you know, it may sound like code for something, but no, she's been chasing buffalo around. That's really what's going on. So, yeah, I am fantastic. Ashley, I spent the week out in Arkansas, Memphis and Arkansas, and Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Saw a couple of great nights of racing. And really what I thought was so fascinating about it was just the long and storied history of racing out in Memphis. And Ashley, when you think about it, and you think about like Bobby Davis Jr. and Hooker and Ricky Hood and Sammy and Jeff Swindell, our buddy Greg Hodnett, Jason Sides, that is an amazing part of the country where some of the best sprint car racers have come from.
It's true. And, you don't really think about it. When you think sprint car racing, you think, Midwest, Iowa, California, Pennsylvania, but you don't really think about it down in that area. So it's cool that you got a chance to actually experience it.
Yeah, it was really great. Got to catch up with my buddy Terry Gray, speaking of legends down there. When you look at the present drivers, Tim Crawley and Derek Hager, Marshall Skinner, Howard Moore, Dale Howard picked up the win on Friday night. Just great racing, I'm telling you. Really, really cool. So appreciate everyone, all the hospitality down in the great state of Arkansas with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Talked a lot of sprint car racing and had a lot of fun, that is for sure. Speaking of having fun, how about Christopher Bell? It's the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions, Lake Ozark Speedway Saturday night. He is chasing down Cale Thomas. Here's Blake Anderson with the call.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Christopher Bell starting to close that gap up. Last time it was 0.55 more. Now Bell down to the inside. Christopher Bell slider. You've got a new leader in turn 2.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Def, the official def of the world of outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
Wing Nation continues on. We appreciate you joining us here. And let's go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us fresh off from a big win Friday night at Williams Grove Speedway, Sheldon Haudenschild joins us. Hello, Sheldon. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, it is great to catch up with you, and great to catch up with you after a win at Williams Grove. How special is it? It's a place your dad had some success and won at. How neat is it for you to win at that difficult, challenging racetrack?
Yeah, for sure. It feels great. I feel like I've had some pretty good runs there, and I went and ran there when I was younger, 16, 17 years old, in Wintermeyer's car. And I led laps back then at a local show. And, that's all I ever wanted to do is even win a local show there, and never got that done when I drove for them. So I feel like we've been working at it and getting better. So definitely feels like it paid off, and that we got a pretty good deal going there now.
Sheldon, we often hear guys talk about how Williams Grove is so tricky because the car is so different and it changes so much from the front stretch to the corners. Is there a feel that you're looking for when you go to a place like that, or is it just kind of hope your car is good and make it stay?
Man, it is tough to get comfortable there for sure, and that's why it's so hard. It's just such an awkward place, and it's just very difficult. And when the local guys get to practice that every week, and we just come in and race and try and figure it out real quick, that's what makes it so difficult. And it's hard to get comfortable there. I think I told Ripper, one of my guys, I said, this is where you just got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's just part of it.
One of the things that fascinates me about Williams Grove is when you guys go down the front stretch, there are times that right front tire picks up. I can't even imagine what's that like. Is that part of the challenge of being comfortable because you have that unique characteristic of your race car?
Yeah, for sure. When we don't really go anywhere that does that to that extreme, and yeah, that's just part of it. You got to be comfortable getting that right front up off the ground and staying in the throttle and entering the corner smooth. When you get the right front off the ground that far, and you try and enter a corner, you kind of got to let it down easy and get a smooth entry into your corner and kind of go from there.
It's definitely unique in its own way. I want to move to Saturday night a little bit. Obviously, you finished second, almost swept the weekend, but that finish was absolutely spectacular with marks and shots and Macedo in there. Absolutely insane. It was fun for me to watch. Is it enjoyable for you while all that craziness is happening, or is it kind of after the fact that you realize what was going on?
I was almost more pumped this Saturday just because, we had a good race, and that's what the fans deserve. They deserve a good race, and we might not have came out on top, but we gave it our all. And, at a place like that, you just got to kind of hound them guys and stay close. I ran third most of that feature and, waited on Donnie and Brent and, just kind of played it out. I tell my guys, we just got to be there at the second half of these races, and I feel like we've been doing that. So, maybe not the result we wanted, but end of the day, it was a good race, and that's what I do it for, is have battles like that, and I want to win them, but I want to win them, with a little bit of style too.
Sheldon, there are great racetracks all across the country, but I think when we look at the sprint car world, there are 3 racetracks that stand head and shoulders above the others. Well, maybe not head and shoulders, but at least a little bit ahead of the others. When you look at Knoxville, of course, the home of the Knoxville Nationals, Eldora, the home of the Kings Royal, and Williams Grove, home of the National Open. You entered this season with no wins at any of them. Now you have World of Outlaw wins at all 3 of those racetracks. What does that mean to you as a competitive race car driver?
Well, actually, I don't have Outlaw wins at all. That Knoxville race is a local show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, in my mind, it's good to win local shows, but at the end of the day, when you go look at the books, that race ain't going to be in there. So that's the goal, win an Outlaw show at Knoxville next. And obviously, I think we can do it. And, it does feel good to have a local win there. But, excited to get there for Nationals. And I feel like our car's just been getting better and better. And, I think that the same thing at all 3 places. I feel like you got to have a really good race car under you, and that's what we got right now.
Sheldon, I know the Nationals is a huge bucket list item for any sprint car driver to win. Obviously, you want to win it, but is there another race out there that means maybe a little more to you personally that you haven't won yet?
Oh, man, I think, you want to win all the big races. Obviously Eldora is probably the top of the list for me, especially now that it pays so much, and just having so much family there. That's probably the race that I want to win the most. And, obviously Knoxville Nationals, just for the prestige of that race, and getting a good payday at the end of the day always helps. But, you want to win all these big races. End of the year at Williams Grove, paying $75,000 to win. That's a really big race. And, races like that are tough to win, and that's what makes the greats so great is they not only have won them once, but multiple times.
Winning the big ones, that's for sure. Sheldon, hang in there. Everyone else, stick around. More with Sheldon Haudenschild in just a moment.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey.
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, continues on. I am in the Hercules Star Studios. Ashley, I need to mention this, didn't mention this. She is wearing the proper attire, the Sheldon Haudenschild t-shirt, up at the Lethal Chassis Studios up in Pennsylvania. Sheldon does join us on the Hercules Star Hotline. And Sheldon, actually this week, I think Eldora released a video of Kings Royal, your dad, your family, him on the outside of the front row. Go back a week or two with us. What was that weekend like, knowing that it was your dad's final shot at a Kings Royal, and to have him get into the race and all the family there? What was that like for you?
Oh man, it was a big weekend, especially for our family. And Dad's heat race, man. Hearing that crowd cheer and when he was just idling by was insane. And you know what he's been able to accomplish there, and you know, put it on the front row. His last Kings Royal was something pretty special, and just standing on top of the trailer that night and watching that heat race and kind of looking around and seeing like Brad Sweet pump his fist when Dad went across the checkered flag. You know, stuff like that's awesome, and you know, he's the man there for sure. It's unbelievable what he's been able to accomplish there. 60-something years old, still be able to rip there is insane.
Sheldon, we've talked about it earlier this year. Obviously, the unveiling of that Pennzoil number 22 car with your dad and all the history that lies there. Can you maybe give us an inside information, I guess, onto how this year's going, how it's unfolding for your dad, and is he having a whole lot of fun this last year in that 22 Pennzoil car?
Yeah, for sure. At first, it was a shock to everybody. You know, Rico did such a good job of keeping it under wraps and, you know, not letting anybody figure it out until he unloaded that thing was pretty special. And, yeah, Dad's having a blast. You know, whoever would have thought that his last year racing, he'd be in a Pennzoil 22 car. And, you know, what Rico's been able to do for him and our family, and be able to have Dad finish out his career and doing something like that is pretty special.
What's it like for you to race against your father?
Oh, man, honestly, I like it better because at Eldora, I do not like watching him at all anymore. It's stressful. I don't know how my mom does it. And watching him in that heat race the other night, you know, it wasn't fun. I'd rather just be out there and not know what's going on and see him after the races and ask him how his race went. But at the end of the day, it's pretty cool. You know, I think they said over the weekend that me and him are the only father-son to have Outlaw wins at Williams Grove, which is insane to me. That, you know, from all the great families that have been racing throughout these years, that you could still accomplish a first is pretty insane.
It's so true. There is no doubt about it. Sheldon, you obviously, a kid growing up watching your dad race, you're racing yourself and you're, you know, super young in the sport. But have you thought about the longevity of your career? Is it something that you want to follow in your father's footsteps and race to the last possible moment? Or do you want to go a different route? You've always been very level-headed. You seem like you're a forward thinker. If you could write your perfect story, what would it look like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and Dad have talked about this a lot. I've talked about this with my car owners and stuff like that. You know, I'm in it for the long haul. This is my career and this is my life. I really don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this. Maybe not do it quite as long as my dad, but you know, my dad just proves that you could do this into your 60s pretty easily. And you know, he hasn't really had the greatest rides throughout the end of his career, but you know, if that's something that works out where you can keep racing in a good race car, I think you can win these races. But yeah, for sure, I'm in it for the long haul, and that's the plan. But you just got to kind of see how it works out. Obviously, you know, you want to stay with teams as long as possible, and Donnie Schatz is a great example of that, and Brad Sweet. You know, they're able to accomplish a lot of their goals, and I think the way you do that is the longevity with the team is the first goal.
Motorhome life with Pella, with Zan. How is things going on the road? Motor coach life, everything good out there?
Why you got to ask that question?
Uh-oh.
Nah, all is good. That's the most stressful thing, is just keeping everything operating and getting up and down the road. I say it all the time. I'm a full-time truck driver, part-time race car driver.
That's funny.
I mean, what's probably the craziest thing that's happened on one of your trips over the years?
That's a tough one. We've ran into some issues before, and Zan kind of just looks at me, and luckily with my dad growing up in the motorhome, we've ran into a lot of situations, so I can usually figure out how to just limp it and get to the next place. But oh man, I don't even know the craziest situation.
Are you
too many to think about?
Are you a guy you like to drive right after the race and head to the next town? Is that correct?
Yeah, I usually like to get there early and get a little rest in before the races. That's what's so great about a motorhome, is you got your home on wheels, and once you get it there and get parked, you're able to relax for a little bit.
Nice. Good stuff.
Sheldon, how important is that windshield time? Being the wife of a racer, I know what it's like after the races. How important is that, just time to clear your head after the races are over?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Like after Lernerville, not such a good night, and we drove to Williams Grove. It was 3.5 hours or something. That gives you a lot of time to think of what you did wrong. And then, obviously I had a good weekend at Williams Grove, and drove 6 hours home Saturday night after the races, and, made the drive easy because it was a good weekend, and you're able to think of the positives and what you got to work on.
The life of a bus driver who also races a sprint car on the side. Neat stuff. Sheldon, we appreciate you spending some time and joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
There we go. Sheldon Haudenschild joining us here on Wing Nation on the Hercules Tire Hotline. Stay with us. Our Tweet Your Seat Tweet of the Week and a lap around the sprint car world are coming up.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We're back here watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, and it is time for the Tweet Your Seat Tweet of the Week. And it comes in from Letitia Williams. It is none other than the blue iconic bridge from Williams Grove Speedway, the home of the World of Outlaws this past weekend. Friday night's winner, Sheldon Haudenschild, who we just spoke to. And then Saturday night was Brent Marks being $20,000. And he's Posse, Steve.
Posse wins. Posse wins. The story goes out all over the sprint car land, that is for sure. Let's take a lap around the sprint car world. We'll go to turn number one. A racer out of Mississippi by the name of Dale Howard picked up the win with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour with a last lap pass Friday night in Batesville, Arkansas.
Sure happy to see that, because it's been 21 years, 1 month, and 20 days since his last national tour win in June 30th, 2000. A really cool story, Steve.
Great story. Competes in the Southeast all the time. Gotten to know Dale a little bit along the way, but I wasn't quite familiar with the backstory on his family. His father raced. He had two brothers that raced as well, Jan and Josh. 2007, at I-30 Raceway, Josh was involved in a terrible crash. Broke his back and paralyzed him from the neck down. And so the family pulled out of racing. When Josh got his bearings and got his wheelchair set to go and some other tools so he could get around, he beckoned the family to get back into racing, and they are racing, and he dedicated that win to his brother Josh. What a great story. The Howard family from down in Mississippi, and it was cool to catch up with Dale and get that backstory on his brother Josh. Turn number two, Christopher Bell. Of course, we know and love Christopher from Norman, Oklahoma. Picked up his first career NASCAR Cup Series win at Daytona earlier this year. He took the weekend off from NASCAR racing, Ashley, but he didn't take the weekend off from racing.
That is right. You can watch it on Flow Racing, the All-Star Circuit of Champions at Lake Ozark Speedway. He was our move of the week earlier. Awesome stuff from him. 14th to 3rd in that Swindell Speed Labs number 39 for Kevin and Joe Swindell. 6th career All-Star win.
Good stuff. That is for sure. Let's go down the back straightaway into turn number 3, Weedsport Speedway. This is such a near and dear place to me. It's the flagship of Dirt Car, which was the big modified series up there, the home of the Dirt Car Museum and Hall of Fame. And I spent many, many Sunday nights in the Northeast up there going to races. The Northeast 150 was a big race. And Ashley, there's a big race there this weekend.
Yes, absolutely awesome. Al Hankey, let's talk about that real quick. He purchased the track in 2013, and he's put millions of dollars into this place to make it incredible. But this weekend, Saturday, the Empire State Challenge, it's the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. It's the 10th time for the World of Outlaws at Weedsport, and it's been the first time since 1980 where the winner was Lynn Paxton.
Lynn Paxton was the winner then, and in 2018, the last time there was Brent Marks, who we've talked about him multiple times here on this program for sure. And finally, let's go to turn number 4. It's coming up on Saturday, August 14th, the 60th running of the Knoxville Nationals. Our friend at NOS Energy, they created a really sweet video.
The greatest spectacle in dirt track racing.
Middle of nowhere, racing capital of the world.
Knoxville Raceway, home of the Knoxville Nationals.
Many racing greats gathered at the Knoxville Nationals to test the track and the tradition.
The history behind it, one of the first races to pay over $100,000 to win.
It's the Knoxville Nationals. This is the race.
For the 11th time, the king of Knoxville.
You really are the man to beat, you know.
This is the race people talk about when they get back home. It's who won Knoxville Nationals.
Thank you, God. This is great. Believe me.
Be on that podium Saturday night. That's what it's all about.
Knoxville Nationals champion.
He's the biggest name in sprint car racing. He's also the most disliked because Donnie Schatz wins.
And he comes back, shots over the cushion again. 7-year leader, and now still City Outlaw. Houston Johnson on the inside. Johnson won the Knoxville Nationals.
These fans are diehard. I'll let you know that it's been good.
wins the Knoxville Nationals.
The Knoxville Nationals crowned a first-time champion.
Knoxville Nationals is what everybody wants to win.
You got to run this thing as hard as possible.
Winning it changes your life. The green flag is waving on the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals.
And there you have it, our lap around the sprint car world. Can't wait to get to Knoxville. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
I'm not ready yet. Come on. All right, I'm ready now.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
I just swing. Okay. I just stopped by to pick up my sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
Yeah, okay.
This is what it looks like when you do it.
Ta-da!
Take a deep breath, count to 5. It's like running across a rhythm section at a motocross track.
Mine was perfect.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, continues on. Ashley, you had kind of mentioned this back on our tweet, I believe it was. Brent Marks picking up the win in Pennsylvania. Great story for Brent. Okay, his story this year has been phenomenal. And, well, you mentioned also the Pennsylvania posse had been a little bit of a lean period. It was good to see the posse strutting their stuff with that win with the World of Outlaws.
It's true. I know Brent was a little bit hesitant to admit that he was posse again, because we all know he's told us he wants to be an outlaw. Unfortunately, things just didn't fall in his hands this way, but he did get the win, and he's posse, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and he'll take that $20,000 to the bank, that's for sure. But just good stuff. Really, really neat stuff, that's for sure. So this coming weekend, of course, the World of Outlaws are up in New York State racing and racing all over. ASCS wrapping up their national tour, their sprint speed weeks. Ashley, where's the Stremme family heading to races this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to head west. We're going to head out to Sharon Speedway there in Ohio to do some modified racing this weekend.
Nice. Love Sharon Speedway, that's for sure. And, boy, that place has had some neat memories this year with Dave Blaney winning that World of Outlaw race. I'm going to go to Hickory and watch a little throwback late model stock racing here in North Carolina. Hey, we appreciate Sheldon Haudenschild joining us here on the program. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.